My name's Janet Newsham, and I work for Greater Manchester Hazard Centre, and I'm the chair of the Hazards Campaign. We're a campaigning organisation on all things occupational health and safety related, and this is a really important initiative that the Hazards Campaign is really proud to be involved with. Um, I think it's hard to imagine any incident of sexual harassment that doesn't fall within the scope of the HSC, the Health and Safety Executive. Um, their violence definition, which says that any incident in which a person is abused, threatened, or assaulted in circumstances relating to their work. So that obviously, in our minds, includes sexual harassment, sexual assault in the workplace, and it includes threats as well as verbal attacks. So, as well as physical attacks. Um, the hazard. If you go onto the Hazards magazine, there's some really good resources on there, and they've been campaigning along with us for a number of years in trying to change the way that sexual harassment is dealt with in the workplace and treated as a health and safety issue. And I think even with this new legislation, as it's been previously said, the new changes which we welcome, the work under the Workers Protection Act, providing explicit legal protection from harassment and employers needing to take reasonable steps to prevent sexual harassment, and to have an action plan in place. It can't do any. It can't do anything unless the HRC can't do anything unless it's got reasonable grounds to believe an offence has been committed. So there's no provision for punitive penalties. There's no provision. It's not a proactive, preventative approach to it. And Bob eloquently talked about the Convention 190, which the UK ratified in 2022, which says that they should take account of violence, harassment, and associated psychosocial risk in the management of occupational safety and health. So they've put it into a health and safety context. And employers must, according to the convention, identify the hazards and assess the risks of violence and harassment with participation of workers and their representatives, and take preventative measures to control them. In our minds, as in health and safety terms, that is the obvious place for it to sit. So it's important to us that the HSC take on that role, that they undertake inspections, so that employers have to put in place proper risk assessments, and that if they don't, then the HSC can proactively go into workplaces and check that they're doing that, and then take action, enforcement action, to control that. No one should face sexual harassment in the workplace or in the wider society, but it is, as it's been pointed out before, it's endemic in our workplaces and in our society. And under health and safety legislation, as I said, it gives an employer a legal duty to carry out, to identify, assess, and control the risks to workers' health and safety, and that harm, including near misses, which would be included as part of a sexual harassment. So if it was there, there would be more urgency, there'd be more determination, we believe, to eradicate it, more accountability on employers if they fail to act, and justice for victims as a result of that. So we've been involved in developing some model risk assessments that can be used in workplaces now, and we should take those up now, I think. And it's nothing to stop us doing that, nothing to stop us putting pressure on employers, using the legislation as it's been changed now, but actually putting it into a health and safety context. And trade unions, and it's brilliant where we've got trade unions. I'm going to hear from Sarah Woolley in a minute. But there are lots of workplaces out there without trade unions. So who is protecting those workers? Who's protecting those women? Who's supporting those women in those workplaces? They've got nobody protecting them and supporting them. So if it's under the HSC, then that would be a legal duty on employers, and we could find another way of perhaps protecting those workers and stopping it happening, not waiting for it to happen to act, but to prevent it from happening in the future.